Welcome to stage 7 recap of the 2021 Cape Epic. And I guess kind of a recap of the whole thing. All of us here finished. Well done, everybody. Robin Russo ended up 15th overall, which is astounding. It's an incredible result.
Jonathan, but you on our first podcast said they'll probably finish 10th. So we're a bit out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please don't. Yeah. Please don't interpret my misunderstanding as
we tried.
Okay. And then Brandon and I, we crawled up some positions today, finished 30th in the men's field and then 40th overall, 26th on the stage. Good job to us.
It's a good stage.
Heck yeah. And by my reckoning, I think somewhere around 6th non-protein, which is, I'm proud of that.
John discovered the wonders of caffeine today.
Yeah, I hadn't been using caffeine during this race because I was afraid of a sleep schedule mess up. But then also, if I'm honest too, and I'll try to do this without getting emotional or anything, but one of our good friends passed away a few years ago, Tate Mankies, and he was a pro rider. His family is from South Africa. And his father gave me a call yesterday. He gave me a pep talk and said how much Tate would love to do this race. And I had Tate with me all day today, and that was really special. And it was a wonderful day. So we had a great stage, fantastic stage. We executed. Brandon, do you remember when everybody said that you specifically, but you specifically were crazy because of the concept of like allowing separation?
I do remember that. I think this is the part where everyone's supposed to say that I was right.
Yeah. Lean in really quick, Brandon. So you're not out of frame. Yeah. Anybody going to say that?
Yeah.
You're definitely right. It works.
Yeah.
And,
did you guys do that too?
Yeah. From time to time, yeah.
And
definitely it helps, like especially if you're trying to not lose a group. And I know I can go a certain speed, but I can't, and I'll probably make it back. So Rob can kind of just hang between the group and me, and then just help me to get back. And then we don't lose the group and get a nice free tow.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard-earned free tow. Because to be honest, like a few stages we did push too hard to catch the group. We're like, sick, we got the group. And then we blew up a bit. It was like, we probably shouldn't have got the group.
Yeah.
So live and learn. First epic. So
yeah, let's talk about that very thing. Sophia, do you want to start us off with, if you were to do this race again, I know, too soon, right? But if you're to do this race again, I'm sure you'd like to do it with a teammate here with you the whole time, but what would you do differently, or what do you think you did well that you would do again?
Yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting thing because my experience was so different. Losing Nate in 50K and then the first big stage, like it took a lot of mental and emotional strength really to keep going, because I could have easily just bagged my season and gone home and, not been involved. So I think for me personally, my first Cape Epic was more about getting my toe in the water and seeing what this infamous race is all about. And now that I have tamed the untamed South African race, I'm definitely looking forward to coming back at some point and contesting for the UCI women's race. I think I was pretty strong.
Yeah, you don't have to say this. I'm going to say this. If Sophia had the fastest time solo one day, and granted, I know GC things are different, but
twice.
Twice.
Yeah. But I'm not counting or anything.
But I think Sophia, especially with like a really good teammate, you would 100% be in the contention for winning one of the biggest mountain bike races in the entire world. And that would be amazing.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, the biggest thing about this race is just the support that you need that's required. It doesn't matter if you're, a solo group, like the 2 people, or if you're traveling with, we had 3 teams. It takes a lot more hands. And the more people that you have supporting you, the easier it is on you every time that you finish or start a stage. So I think things I did really well was, stayed positive, pushed through, and wanted to, finish the adventure, even if it meant being by myself, because I was not about to DNF my first Cape Epic. So yeah, that's not much advice for me, but yeah.
If I could say one thing, and I know we all agree to this, and we haven't mentioned his name yet on this podcast, I don't think, but if we were to do this again, one thing we would absolutely do again is hire Philip.
Yeah.
Make sure you get a Philip.
Yeah.
Actually, two.
Actually-
Like 2 Philips would be ideal.
Yeah.
The Philip did the job of 2.
Yeah. Can you explain what Philip did, Russo? Like what role he served for us?
Everything.
Philip was everything. If you had to put a name to it, it'd probably be like team manager. But he went over and above with everything after there in the morning to take jackets, help pack the car, help with everything before the stage, and then after, clean shoes, clean helmets. Our bikes are taken care of by someone else, and we also had massages from someone else. But he just kind of did all the other things that you could do in the afternoon yourself, but it's nice to have someone else do it for you, and you can just sleep and relax.
Philip was an extreme luxury.
Yes.
And I think, like Jonathan said, like we really appreciated him because, and like Rousseau said, it really took off that little extra bit of load that we didn't have to worry about. Like, where are my shoes? Where's my helmet? Is it clean? Oh, especially after the rainy stage. Like, do I really have to go and clean my shoes every day with all this mud? So thank you, Philip. Please watch this.
He was amazing. And so if we're doing this race, don't get Philip because we want Philip. But he was amazing. And thank you so much. He was our fixer. He did everything. As far as like doing the race and like specific tips, I would say absolutely do the massages. All the massage therapists that we saw were just, when we saw a lot of different ones, they were fantastic. Like they were great. They were super nice too. And it was like a good kind of emotional break from the race just to have like nice, fun conversations, and everyone was super happy. Definitely, I would say hire a mechanic service of some kind. We didn't go through the event. Rousseau was the one that connected us with some great options there, but definitely get somebody to take care of that, because that would just be, I mean,
You can't do it.
yeah,
There's no way.
like for all of us, there was not much free time.
No.
Still, with
Also,
all these
if you
people
think-
helping us, I don't know how we would have done all the bike maintenance too.
We also rode clean enough, okay, maybe besides Brandon on one day, but that we didn't have punctures or mechanicals. So on days that you could have or would have, like we had enough to deal without mechanicals to deal with. So that made a huge difference having the mechanics like that. That's a big piece of epic.
Yeah, for sure. The lodging, you could do it yourself, or you could do like we did, they called it the Avis package, and they kind of moved you from place to place. I'd say that was like satisfactory. If I was to do it again, I probably would just arrange all of that individually, or like work with a Philip to arrange it. Yeah. Because we could have been like even closer to each stage start, and then the transfers could have just been a little bit more smooth, you know, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Can we talk about nutrition? Would anybody change the way that they fueled for the race?
Yeah, I would definitely. I think also, like Jonathan, I was sort of cutting out caffeine, and it kind of had the adverse effect on me of just when I had caffeine, because one of the nutrition I use is only caffeine. And I didn't even, to be honest, naively thought, I'll be fine with it. And then I realized I'm doing 7 consecutive days of just consuming caffeine gels, and I had bars, but gels were my main. When you're racing, gels is what I pretty much just ate. And I learned very quickly that it's not going to work for me specifically to have that much caffeine.
Did it affect your sleep and stuff?
Definitely. When I took a caffeine gel closer to the end of the stage, thinking the stage would be longer, I could feel it throughout the day, and it really sucked. But I think just the compound of so much caffeine for someone who can't handle caffeine, I probably should have realized it earlier, but that was my naivety. So definitely, I'd probably ride with no caffeine. Yeah. Or racing wise, I'd probably take caffeine, but 1 out of all my gels would be caffeine. Yeah.
Would anybody else change anything about the nutrition, what they did?
Yeah, I think I maybe kind of, because obviously a lot of what we rode is kind of rough terrain, and it's sometimes, especially if you're on the limit, it's like hard to now take your hand out of your pocket and try and eat a ball or get something down. And a couple of the days towards the end, like maybe not far to go, like 5, 6, or maybe say between 5 and 10 Ks to go, I could actually feel I'm hungry now. And that's never a good thing, I think. Shouldn't be hungry on the bike. And luckily we get the meals right after, and I would like make a plan and either have a gel or half a bar or something just to make sure the tank doesn't run empty. But yeah, just to kind of have more of a nutrition plan and actually stick to it, than just taking something that you feel when you need it. Yeah.
Brandon, you ate a lot of gels.
Yeah, no, I was really happy with my nutrition plan. I tested it leading up to the event, I had a pack every day with 3 things of Martan and 7 or 8 gels every single day. I'd be pretty happy if I didn't see another gel for at least a couple months, to be perfectly honest. But it worked really well. I've had issues with race nutrition in the past in long races, and I never felt like I was at that point where I was behind the 8 ball on eating.
Yeah, you nailed it. You did awesome with that, and that's tricky. Like you said, Rousseau, to pull a gel out and eat it, and Brandon nailed that. I nailed my nutrition plan to the T. I never finished with a spare gel. I never finished with spare water. I just nailed it. At 100 grams an hour, just clockwork, and it worked fantastic. So mix in the bottles and then gels. So I would do a bag of Marten 360 or a bottle of Marten 360, and then I would do a gel. I do that every hour, and then I took Precision Hydration small little tablets. They're like 250 or 500 every hour, and I took those too. Now, what about training? When I think about this race, if I was to say ideal training, there are a lot of steep, punchy bits, but it still comes down to sustainable power.
Yeah,
would you agree?
Yeah, especially for me being a little bit, I think on a good day, I've got 15 kilograms on me. So to stick with them on a climb will be a challenge in anyway. But to really practice those long climbs, I realized I'm good for 10 minutes, but that's pushing it. And then I need to tap off in the first couple of minutes already for me to sustain. And it's also a much lower level than what he could do for 20 minutes or the longer kind of things. So that'll be something I'd like to work on.
And the effort that you sustain of these climbs, it's not threshold because it's such a long race. It's like sub LT. So you're sitting around that sweet spot zone and, high tempo. And the longer you can sustain that throughout a race, you can really just pull so much time. Like Brandon and I, toward the end of every stage, usually pulled a huge amount of time on people just because we kept the gas on and we could do that at the end. And so the steep climbs, if you look at it, it takes up such a small portion of the actual stage in terms of time and distance. So it doesn't make sense to prepare specifically for the steeps when the majority of the time is spent just with stable, steady power. The only thing I would do is do a lot more volume, but my life doesn't really allow that. I'm just capped at what it is. So I think that I haven't looked at the exact total race time, but I bet Brandon and I were around 35 hours. So that's way more than I do in a typical week. But there was also, it's not like I'm not going to race because I can't do that in training. Just try to do as much as you can, as much as your life allows. Anything else anybody would do differently? Equipment choices or anything?
I'm the only thing to add, aside not only from training, your body, but also you really need to have a strong core, a strong lower back. Get on a stretching routine, the 6 months leading into it, stretch every day. I have an app that dings every minute, and it's a really short 20-minute stretch. But it actually has allowed my muscles to recover from training day in and day out. So then when I'm at these stage races and I am getting the massage work, my body actually responds really well. I think that a lot of people that were there, they asked people to go really deep, but they actually cause damage because their bodies aren't able to take in that adaptation just because it's not something that they have kind of built the tolerance for. And then, it's not fun when your low back seizes or, you're not able to enjoy a descent because your calves are really tight. So it's just making sure that you come in healthy and you also come in rested and you come in with a, good mental space. I think, I think that kind of got Nate, and that's the reason he's not here. He just was not ready for this adventure. And, I think we had really high expectations that did not match our current combined fitness, and I think that kind of got the best of him. So, you know, it's an achievement in your first Cape Epic. Honestly, if you finish it, it's if you honestly, as your first Cape Epic, if you just finish it, you did a really good job.
Oh yeah, it's credit to anybody that finishes this. It's so extremely hard, and you said it well that you have to also like really have a steel mind. Like you have to have really strong determination, because you will get brought to your knees in this race 100%. Like you'll have really low points where it feels like you shouldn't continue.
I think you need to be prepared to get kicked in the head day in, day out for 8 days. And that was me most of the days. But you do get some positives out of it, and you progress and you do better, and you realize everyone's human, everyone's suffering. So it's just how you handle it at the end of the day.
And obviously there's a big difference if you're coming here to race it versus ride it, right? So I think don't feel like everything, all the tips that we're giving you is tips to come and race and perform. But, if you just maintain a good load and are able to do some good days on the bike, you can really come out and enjoy this, because the trails are fun. It's a good 8 days on the bike, and you get to see a lot of South Africa. And I really enjoyed the riding here, and
it's beautiful too.
Yeah, hopefully I get to come back. So we'll see.
Final note: it is not a fire road race.
Yeah,
I was waiting for that
at all. So a proper mountain bike race. It is hard. The trails are hard. Some of the trails are really technical. The rocks are really rough. The trails
demanding on your body.
Yeah.
Well, as I learned,
totally.
That's something I was going to interject with Sophia, just saying, like, if you don't have much upper body strength, and especially core, like you just mentioned, like, which unfortunately I wasn't prepared with. I definitely, after stage 2, the amount of rocks and that descent just broke my back. And literally since then, I was just maintaining my back as best I can. Again, the massages helped hugely. Also getting my back taped, huge, like that was awesome. But as Sophia said, I would definitely come prepared with stretching, and just make sure you, even at the most basic, have some form of a stable core, because it's not a fire road race, and there are plenty of rocks, and it really does work your upper body. So just come well balanced.
Don't ride a hardtail for sure. I ran inserts in my tires, and I loved that choice because it probably added, I think it added 70 grams or 80 grams to my wheels, but so much peace of mind. And I had a few times where bing, I hit rock on rim, and I bet without inserts I would have had flat. And there's plenty of spots where you can flat on this course or on this race. So what an incredible week. Cape Epic, you're an amazing event. The organization and everything around the race, I'm completely taken aback at how incredibly well ran everything is. South Africa, your country's beautiful, and your people are so kind and warm. This has just been an incredible experience. And thank you, TrainerRoad, for allowing us to do this. And thank you to all of you that have been listening.
For 2 years.
I know, for a long time. And watching these podcasts on YouTube, and and sending us messages of support. That's meant a lot to us as well. So the final parting note is that if you have questions about this, any questions whatsoever, you can ask as specific as you want. We're going to do a live Q&A on Instagram for this. So stay tuned to our Instagram. Just go and find TrainerRoad on Instagram, and you can find us there. Stay tuned, and we'll be sharing the date and time on that shortly. And we'll do a live Q&A to answer any and all questions you have about Cape Epic. That's it. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.